But when you study money, every time you print money, two things happen. The rich get richer. Poor middle class get poorer. And the reason for that is when you print money, so-called assets of value go up, but also expenses for food and things go up. So when you see homelessness increasing, the more we print money, more homelessness, because they can't afford the house. If you study money, this has happened every time we print money. So, I'm a student of money. I don't know why. That was my only interest. There wasn't a class called money at school. I just studied it on my own.
Just a greedy bastard.
Yeah, but when you print money, two things happen. So Nixon was the guy that printed money, first guy. And it was from Bretton Woods, all the history. Look at how he came up. Every time they printed money, there's been war.
Great.
So it brought
the Greenback and the Civil War, 1920s.
The Weimar Republic, it brought Hitler to power.
Yes.
I was in Zimbabwe when Zimbabwe went down. But when you study money, every time you print money, two things happen. The rich get richer. Poor middle class get poorer. And the reason for that is when you print money, so-called assets of value go up, but also expenses for food and things go up. So when you see homelessness increasing, the more we print money, more homelessness, because they can't afford the house. The price of housing went up, but inflation went up.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. If you're making less than $100,000 a year, how do you afford a house?
Can't.
Because you go to the supermarket and your cash is sucked out of there on the expense column. But that's why there's no financial education in our schools. They don't have to teach you that stuff. They got some guy with a PhD in a paper and go. So that's the problem. And another thing I was taught at the academy, because of ring knockers, you watch what a person does, not what they say. The Federal Reserve Bank has either 400 or 4,000 PhDs. My mind goes, that's 4,000 or 4,000, like my poor dads. They're academic geniuses who know jack about money, and they're killing us. So when I see that, and then you have my generation was the first baby boom generation, was the first generation without a defined benefit pension plan. Defined benefit was like, when my father generation, they worked for Ford or General Motors, and they had a pension for life. But in 1974, that changed. So they shifted to the 401k and IRA, RRSP in Canada, 401k in Japan. So the boomer generation is kind of hanging out there on a string right now, and now we're starting to retire. So that was 74 to now, and how many years that is. But the boomer generation had the easiest time in all history. The economy boomed. But now it's about to shift, and I'm afraid the boomer generation might be, out of luck. I don't know what's going to happen, but something has to happen. That old saying is, how'd you go bankrupt, slowly and then fast? Well, the speed's about to go fast right now, all over the world. You look at Japan. When I was a kid, they were the miracle of Japan. Well, now their yen is worth nothing. And, Japanese aren't the brightest when it comes to money. I'm Japanese. I say that. Fourth generation American Japanese. They print more money than we do. So, that's what I'm saying. So if our school systems teach us nothing about money, then we have idiots running the show. Well, if you study macroeconomics, if we don't borrow, money is created by borrowing money, not working for it anymore. So if you can understand that macro concept, and then today America is now printing, this is 2024, we just started printing $1 trillion every 90 days to keep this economy floating. Now, when they stop, that's like Noah's Ark going down, on top of the mountain. Oh, prices are going up. I better jump in. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. The village idiots are running in there. It's like right now, they're all running into Bitcoin and stuff like this. The stock market today, all-time highs. Idiots are just jumping in like lemmings going to die. Well, I'm kind of on all coins have three sides, heads, tails, and the edge. So you have Republicans, Democrat, but I stand on the edge, look at both sides. And you have right and left and all this stuff. So when I look at money, you have to see what's invisible. You have to see the other side. And so when the 2008 market hit, I said money was dead. What the banks were doing was they were borrowing money and then packaging debt as an asset so they could borrow more money. They're called derivatives. And the average American, since they're financially illiterate, they don't speak the language of money. When I speak a derivative, that's like if you get an orange, you cut it, you squeeze it. The orange juice is a derivative of the orange. So what a derivative is in 2008 was a derivative of debt made into bigger debt. So the debt accelerated. So Warren Buffett is called derivatives, weapons of mass financial destruction. So I'm sitting there like this, watching it. 2008 comes, it blew. blue. Thank you, God. Thank you. Because when you see the other side, I made more money in the crash than I did when I was going up. So the average person, because they don't have financial literacy, definition of words, and they're taught to just work for money, they don't see the other side. They cannot see what they cannot see. So when the markets crashed in 2008, I borrowed $300 million. I bought the best real estate in the world for pennies on a dollar. That's how you get rich. Not by working hard and putting in a stupid 401k full of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. But that's what they tell the kids. Go to school, get a job, work hard, and put your money in a 401k or an IRA full of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. I don't touch that garbage. It's trash. Again, all coins are three sides, heads, tails, and the edge. That's the other side. So for there to be an asset, there has to be a liability by definition. If you understand that one, you'll say, okay, so here's the asset. What's the liability? Well, I wouldn't touch a mutual fund. That's toxic. But the liability is the BlackRocks or the fund managers who package that stuff. All coins are three sides. I'm on the other side. I package it. That's why Buffett called, derivatives weapons of mass financial destruction. I package that debt, and that's how I make my money. So I know what those guys who are like BlackRock and all these guys, the mutual fund, they're Vanguard, they're just packaging garbage and selling it. I wouldn't touch it. Well, you better study. A village idiot and their money are soon gone. They all disappear. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's the #1 book in the world for 27 years. And I flunked out of school because I can't write. And the publishers of New York, like Simon & Schuster, they all turned Rich Dad, Poor Dad down. They said, because they're like my poor dad. These academics are the worst people on planet Earth. Because they have this stupid piece of paper that says, you're smarter than that guy over there. I used to say, my poor dad, it's a piece of paper. Show me your financials. Oh, I got my PhD. If you can understand the insanity of that somebody actually thinking their PhD makes them smarter than the village idiot out there. You're broke, you're working hard, you pay taxes, and you're saving dollars, and they're printing dollars. But I have a PhD. My other friend has a real estate license. He says, I have a real estate license. You don't. I said, yeah, because I don't want. I have a real estate license. I think I'm doing my best for your audience to show the insanity of our public today. They think a lousy piece of paper like the dollar bill is important. Well, it's a piece of paper. It's a derivative. So in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I said there's 3 main rules. The rich don't work for money. What I do as a capitalist is I create assets. So I take debt, all this, I assemble, I put a piece of real estate together or a business, or like right now I'm up in northern Canada buying lithium fields. We're going to crush lithium for batteries, EV batteries and batteries. So we create assets. And so that asset pays money. So every month I have 1,600 rental units. Every month, 1,600 people who probably went to school pay me rent. God bless them. And guess what? Because they're paying me and my properties are 100% debt, I pay no taxes. But the average person says, well, I pay more taxes than you. I said, well, you're an idiot. No, if you understand tax law, America was founded as a tax revolt. 1773 was a thing called the Boston Tea Party. We don't want to pay taxes. But if you read Karl Marx in his book, The Communist Manifesto, taxes are essential for the spread of communism. My poor dad was also head of the labor union. What did Marx say about labor unions? Workers of the world unite. But I understand this stuff. That's literacy, So anyway, rich don't work for money. I create assets. We don't save money, and your house is not an asset. So the average poor person, went to college like my dad, PhDs. Go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, get out of debt, and you buy a house because your house is your biggest asset. That is the dark side of the coin, but it's the light side for the idiots. But you can't tell them that because they got this stupid piece of paper that says you're smart. My dad says, I'm smarter than your rich dad. I said, yeah, you're also broke. Because you have to understand cash flow. 2 most important words. If you read financials, that's what your banker wants to see. Your banker wants to see your financial, not your GPA, not your report card, not your college degree. They want to see assets, liabilities, and cash flow. So there's 3 basic parts to a financial statement. Income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow. You can teach a monkey that, but our schools don't teach that. Did studies at Stanford, Northwestern, University of Chicago, and he was poor as a church mouse, but he held up his PhD. I said, yeah, that and $25 will buy you a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? What good is a PhD? And they get so many people get so attached to a stupid piece of paper And so my rich dad was my best friend's father, never had an education. And he always said, my banker has never asked me for my report card yet. So what does your banker want to see? So these idiot left-wing academic types that go, I went to Stanford, and my banker wants to see my financial statement. My poor dad had no idea what a financial statement is. Most academics have no idea. They don't have financial statements. But to be a capitalist, I run on my financial statement. Because 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard and the US dollar became debt. So today, if we stop borrowing money, the economy collapses. It's because it's debt.